Are you presenting tonight, Chino? No.
No, not
No, you're
tonight.
not. Okay.
Yeah, I think next week. Yeah, we don't have, nobody was here, huh, today?
No,
We
Ashley was here for like a second, but then she left, and we haven't seen her back. So.
we have a baby shower tonight for my wife, so just got back helping the ladies setting up their stuff.
Oh, fun.
I know. Awesome.
Wow.
Cool.
Well, on that note, there's a JavaScript events.
Yay.
So JavaScript events are pretty stinking awesome. The reason being is because they help make a website more interactive, and it works with the DOM structure to help manipulate HTML elements and change them to, more of what you're wanting the page to react to certain events that a user may do. And this is obviously beneficial because it just gives more of that instant feedback to the user of the website. So there are quite a few of these DOM object events, and I posted the links so you can see how many different events you can actually initiate certain functions from your JavaScript. So you have mouse events, keyboard events, frame or object events, form events, drag events, clipboard events. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you get the point. There's quite a bit. So there's the link for your reference. And so there's several methods of how you can achieve this. You begin by starting to write your JavaScript function of what you're wanting the HTML element to do. And one of these methods is you can actually call that function within the HTML element itself. So take this, for example, the paragraph tag has an ID of paragraph 1, and you use the DOM object event name onClick to call the JavaScript function. And then within the ID, you can identify it by just typing in this. So JavaScript will then understand, okay, this element, I need to use this function to manipulate this element. And then the other method, of course, is creating a variable that calls out that specific HTML element through an ID. To me, it seems like an extra step that you would need to do versus just typing in this. But this is another method of performing this. And the third method is this add event listener. And I wasn't fully able to get it to work the way I think it was supposed to, but I'll show some different examples. Here is my page, and so I'll just go through some of the events that I was able to do for my site. For this header, I created a onClick event, so whenever you clicked on it, it changed the text as well as the color.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Go ahead.
Do you have to click on it, or if you click anywhere, will it do that event?
You have to click on that element.
Okay. Okay.
So right now that you know how a website's structured. It's not.
So you clicked on the title, or you clicked on the button?
You click on the title.
Title, okay.
And then for this first paragraph, I have a event name of onHover or mouse over, which whenever the mouse cursor goes over that element, it's going to do what I want it to. So there it switched. Now for this paragraph, I created an on mouse, like mouse down and mouse up. So when you click the mouse button down and hold it, it changed the text color to red. And then when you release the mouse button, it goes back. And so each of those is a separate function. And then within this input field, you can type what you want, and then once you click out, it converts it all to capital text if that's what you're wanting your form to do. And then this last function is on click, populate, this text within this field. So here is the layout of that code. So here the header. I've on click, I put the test function, which for this one I created the variable and then just called it out through. Sorry. And yeah, completely lost my train of thought. As far as the add event listener, normally, like in the example, it wouldn't have. Let's see if I can't find that example again. Here, it's not even calling a function. So with my list of functions, for some reason, it needed a function name in order for it to work. But I think it's working here because there's no other function name for it to choose from. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure. So here it's basically just it's taking a look at the document and grabbing the button ID and then saying, okay, listen for this event, which is click. And then once you hear that, then perform this function, which is grab the paragraph ID and put in hello world. So when you come over here, it's listening, it hears the click, and then it populates it. Does that make sense? Yes?
It does to me.
Questions? Gino?
No, it's pretty cool. I like it. Can you hear me? Oh yeah. So yeah, it's amazing what you can do with the JavaScript.
Yes.
It's impressive.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
All right. I turn it now over to Lindsay.
Can I ask a question, Adam?
No, you can't. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, this is a great job in the PowerPoint and the slides and everything. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. I feel like you always go deeper and grab some stuff that new to us, and I actually didn't know anything you can do with all this in JavaScript, which is cool. So how do you guys set up the portfolio? Do you have it set up through NetBeans, or do you have it set up as a folder? I'm working on that this week, and I'm trying to get like Ajax coding going and stuff like that. But
so this is how I set it up. I have my own website.
Yeah, I'll show you mine too. This is just my home page, and I just have links.
I'm not even sharing my screen, so how can
yeah, you can share your screen if you don't have to share your screen, but if you want to, that's fine.
I have mine up if you want to see mine, but Adam can pull his up too, and we can see how he did it.
Yeah. So typically, just a small index file, and then it's a folder with all these links, right? Like the Java, JSON, and local storage, and all that files.
That's what mine is, yeah.
Okay, and then I think Adam built some PHP for some of his, right?
That was what?
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, it was Ajax.
Ajax, yeah. Why did you do that? You couldn't find an example, or just curious? Because I'm fighting with that right now.
As far as communicating with the PHP file?
Yeah, so you create a PHP file just to use as a database, or?
Yeah, so I have it. I have that PHP file in the same folder as my Ajax. It's just not, you can't see it here.
Correct. But how did you link it to the Ajax? Just curious. I think the PHP won't be shown, right? You can't see the PHP on there.
Right.
You could probably, this is how mine is set up, Chino. I have a folder for each of the topics.
Okay.
And then, so in my Ajax one, I actually have 3 files, but you only see the HTML one.
Right.
So, yeah, so for that color.php, so how did you do like a request? Oh, okay, so yeah, got it.
So yeah, so in my HTML, I just did, where does
That
it go?
PHP?
Somewhere it has to call, well, here it's calling the other HTML one.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
On the get part. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I did it the same way where I created a Ajax folder and then put my PHP.
And that's how a lot of these are. A lot of them have more than one file in them.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not.
So you're not sharing CSS or anything. You just every page has its own folder with index and right.
Yeah, that's how I have been doing it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Good question.
Okay. Mine real quick. I did CSS animations, which was kind of fun. And so they're just another way to, it's actually fairly similar to the JavaScript events. Another way to change HTML elements without using JavaScript. And it's basically just changing the element between different styles that you determine. And the other cool thing is there's no limit to the number of changes or the number of styles that you could perform on one element. So you could have one thing doing a whole bunch of stuff. And it's pretty easy to use. It looks like there's a lot of code, but it's pretty simple. It uses what they call keyframes to specify the animations that you want. And you name the keyframe, and then you just reference the specific keyframe for the element that you want to animate. And the keyframe just holds some styles that you want it to do, or actions, I guess. And if you have to, or you do have to, specify the animation duration property of your animation, or the element won't do anything because the default's 0. So there's a bunch of these properties, but you could leave some of them out if you wanted, but this one you have to have. These are some of the more popular properties. So I guess you have to have the animation name too, because that's what binds the keyframe with the specified styles to the correct element that you want to change. Then, like I said, you have to have the duration. The delay is just if you want the animation to not start for a few seconds after the page loads. The animation iteration count is how many times you want it to cycle through the animation. So if you want it to just keep going, you would set it to infinite, or you could just put like 1 or 2 times. And the animation timing function specifies how the how the animation should progress. So if you want it to start slow and then get faster at the end, or if you just want everything to take the same amount of time. So it's all pretty customizable. So that's really all there is to it. So I'll show you what my page that I played around with looks like. I did 2 animations. So this one that is set to infinitely go through the animation, and then this other one down here. So I mixed it in with my DOM so that these appear when the buttons click, these new elements. And they're set to do it twice, and it does it alternates. So it fades in, and it goes to the right, and then it bumps against the left, and it bumps back against the right, and then it fades out. So create a bunch of those. So that's really all there is. And then the code for it then looks like this. And like I said, it kind of looks like there's a lot, but it's really not too much. There's not too much to it. So here's my H1 that was the first animation. And then, so this should look like regular old CSS. So the difference is you add an animation title, and I named my title, and then that's what calls or connects it to the keyframe, so it knows what things to do. I wanted it to take 5 seconds to go through the whole animation. Like I said, the iteration count was set to infinite, so that's why it's just going to keep spinning in that corner. And then this linear just means it's taking the same amount of time to go through all of these. And then, so what this is doing, this is just how far into the animation you want different things to happen. You could also, if you just want it to start and stop, you could also use to and from, but you can do more when you add percents. And you can do any percents. These could be whatever numbers. So this is when it starts. It's starting as color white, and this is the location it's starting. When it's 25% complete, this is what's going to happen when it's 50% complete, and on and on.
Can you change the color of 75% to like red or something and let us see?
Yeah. Which one is this? Okay, so reload this page.
And then the CSS, it doesn't have to be internal. The CSS have to be internal or external as well?
No, it could be external, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. See, and I think it does a good job of like fading back and forth. Like they're smooth or animations, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that one. That's pretty simple. And then, so the only difference with this second one, this was the function from DOM that was adding elements. And all I added to this was this p.class name, and I gave it a class of example, just so that all my paragraphs didn't have this happening. And then same thing, so there's the regular old CSS code, and then name, duration, iteration count, animation direction. So alternate, that's just having it start and then go backwards. And then this ease in, so the other one was linear, so it was taking the same amount of time for each part of the animation. This one means it's going to go slower at first and then speed up through the rest of it. And same deal here. I only specified a couple different. I did a beginning, middle, and end point. And then I only added, so transform was the text. It's making it a little bit bigger. And then an opacity. So that one just looks like that. That's it.
Great job.
Good job. Awesome stuff.
That one was more fun than previous ones.
So Lindsay, it takes you like 2 hours to put this in together, or?
Well, this one probably it was easy, and then I just messed around a bit for a while. Yeah, wow. It's once you like get how it's all working, it's pretty easy and kind of fun. So
awesome.
That's it.
Great.
Anything else? Any questions?
I'm just glad that we recorded this.
Yeah. And you add me to the recording, which is really good.
Oh, I can't believe I just forgot to.
I don't want to miss any meetings. I just feel like even though things happen in life, I don't want to miss it. I just feel like it's at least you have to make it to the meeting.
Yeah.
Well, especially if we're getting like graded or critiqued on stuff that happens here. So, all right. Well, me and Adam are done with our presentations for.
I know you guys are gonna get tired of me listening to me in the rest of the year.
No, it'll be good. All right.
Awesome.
Well, have a good night, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See ya.
thanks.